The scorching Arizona sun beat down on Jack Sullivan's weathered face as he stood outside the Silver Creek saloon, his world crumbling around him. The bank had given him 30 days to pay off his father's gambling debts or lose the ranch that had been in his family for 3 generations. $20,000. It might as well have been $1 million. He'd worked that land since he was 8 years old, breaking horses and mending fences alongside his old man before the cards and whiskey took him. Now Jack was 28, alone, and about to lose everything because of another man's mistakes. Mayor Thornton emerged from the saloon with that snake oil smile of his, flanked by his cronies. "I have a solution to your problem, Sullivan," he said, stroking his handlebar mustache. "My niece Eleanor just arrived from Boston. Educated, proper, but a bit too headstrong for the city folk. Scared off 3 potential suitors with her sharp tongue and sharper mind. Marry her and I'll clear your debts entirely." Jack's jaw clenched. He'd heard of these arrangements. Desperate deals made between powerful men and the powerless. "I don't need charity. And I sure as hell don't need a wife." Thornton's smile faded. "Then you'll need a new place to live. The bank forecloses in 30 days and I happen to own the bank. This isn't charity, boy. It's business. Eleanor needs a husband to settle her down and you need money. Simple as that." The other ranchers watched from their porches, some with pity, others with barely concealed satisfaction at seeing proud Jack Sullivan brought low. He'd always been independent, refusing to play the, political games that governed Silver Creek. Now that independence was costing him everything. 3 days later, Jack stood at the altar of the small church, his collar strangling him worse than any rope. The town had gathered not out of joy but curiosity, eager to see the wild city girl who'd been shipped west like unwanted cargo. When Eleanor walked down that aisle, Jack's breath caught, though not for the reason anyone expected. She wasn't the frail, helpless creature he'd imagined. Eleanor Thornton moved with purpose, her green eyes scanning the crowd with an intelligence that made him uncomfortable. Her chestnut hair was pulled back severely, and her dress, though finer than anything in Silver Creek, was practical rather than ornate. But it was her expression that struck him most. No tears, no trembling, just a cool assessment as if she were calculating odds at a poker table. When she reached him, she whispered just loud enough for him to hear, "I assume you're as thrilled about this arrangement as I am, Mr. Sullivan." Her voice carried an edge of sarcasm that would have been funny if the situation weren't so dire. The ceremony was mercifully brief. When the preacher pronounced them man and wife, Jack's kiss was perfunctory, barely brushing her cheek. The town cheered, but it sounded hollow. As they walked back down the aisle, Eleanor's hand rested lightly on his arm and she smiled for the crowd. But under her breath she murmured, "This town has no idea what it's done, forcing both of us into this cage. But I promise you, Mr. Sullivan, I didn't survive Boston society to be defeated by a dusty western town. We may be stuck with each other, but I intend to make the best of it, whether you like it or not." Eleanor's first week at the ranch shattered every expectation Jack had about city women. While he expected complaints about the dust, the heat, and the primitive conditions, she simply rolled up her sleeves and surveyed the property with the calculating eye of a businesswoman. On the 3rd morning, she appeared at breakfast with a ledger she'd found in his father's study. "Your books are a disaster," she announced, setting the thick volume on the table with a thud that made the coffee cups rattle. "Your father wasn't just a gambler, Mr. Sullivan. He was being systematically cheated, and I can prove it." Jack looked up from his eggs, irritation flashing across his face. "My father's mistakes are his own. I'm working to fix them, not assign blame." Eleanor pulled out a chair and sat down without invitation, flipping through pages filled with her neat annotations. "Don't be a fool. Your uncle by marriage, the estimable Mayor Thornton, has been buying up ranch land around Silver Creek for the past 5 years. Every property he's acquired has followed the same pattern. The owner falls into mysterious debt, usually gambling losses verified by Thornton's associates, and then loses everything. Your father's debt appeared in the books only 6 months ago, but the entries are in different handwriting than his usual script. The accusation hung in the air like gun smoke. Jack wanted to dismiss it as the paranoid imaginings of an unhappy bride, but the evidence she'd compiled was damning. She'd cross-referenced dates, handwriting samples, and testimony from other ranchers' widows she'd somehow already interviewed. Over the following weeks, Eleanor transformed from unwanted wife to unexpected ally. She couldn't rope a steer or break a horse, but she could read men better than any card-sharp Jack had ever known. She attended every town meeting, her presence making the council members uncomfortable, with her pointed questions about land, acquisitions, and bank practices. She befriended the wives and widows Thornton had dismissed as irrelevant, gathering stories of coercion and manipulation. The town's opinion shifted slowly. The women admired her intelligence and determination. The men grudgingly respected her refusal to be intimidated. Even old Carlos, Jack's ranch hand who'd sworn no woman could survive a month out there, admitted she had backbone. Enough for 3 cowboys, but it was at the Silver Creek Town Hall meeting that Eleanor made her final move. With half the town present, she stood and presented documented evidence of Thornton's fraudulent debt scheme, testimonies from 4 other families he'd swindled. She'd even gotten the bank clerk, promised immunity, to testify about falsified records. Thornton's face went purple with rage. This is absurd. She's a hysterical woman spreading malicious lies because she's unhappy with her arranged marriage. Eleanor's smile was sharp as a knife blade. Hysterical? I graduated top of my class from Boston College of Business. I was managing my father's investments before I turned 21. The only hysteria here is your panic at being exposed. Uncle, you forced me into this marriage thinking you'd neutralized a problem and gained control of the Sullivan Ranch. Through family ties, you underestimated both of us. The resulting investigation cleared Jack's father's name and revealed Thornton's corruption. The debts were forgiven and several families regained their lost property. As for Jack and Eleanor, their marriage of convenience slowly became something neither had expected. One evening, watching the sunset from the porch, Jack finally said what he'd been thinking for weeks. You could leave now, you know. You're free of your uncle, free of this arrangement. Eleanor looked at him with those sharp, green eyes that had first unnerved him. And missed the chance to build something real out of this mess? I think not, Mr. Sullivan. Besides, someone needs to teach you proper bookkeeping. Jack laughed, a genuine sound that surprised them both. I suppose I could tolerate that. Mrs. Sullivan. The town of Silver Creek learned an important lesson that year. Never underestimate the unwanted bride, because she might just be exactly what everyone needed all along. Sometimes the best partnerships are the ones nobody planned for. Forged not in romance, but in mutual respect and the shared determination to outsmart those who tried to control them. Both. If this story of resilience, intelligence, and unexpected partnership moved you, please subscribe to our channel and share it with others who love tales of courage and clever comebacks. Leave a comment below telling us what you thought of Eleanor's strategy. We read every comment and love hearing from you. New stories every week that prove the underestimated are often the most powerful.